Ozzie! I love him. And I think that's what everybody in Braves country is saying today as Ozzie Albies near single-handedly propels the Braves over the Milwaukee Brewers to win the series officially, and the Braves will go for the sweep tomorrow on Sunday afternoon at Truist Park. This was another thrilling game, low-scoring pitcher's duel, this time between Chris Sale, the Braves ace, who left this game trailing, like Mizorowski did last night, 2-1, and for Milwaukee. What a fantastic outing. Just Harrison, it gets overshadowed by how good Jacob Mizorowski is, but he was on today, giving you 6 1/3. He was better than Chris Sale in every way. Chris Sale got a little bit unlucky with how his defense played. The Braves defense, traditionally, especially this year, one of the best in Major League Baseball. They made some poor plays that may not even show up as errors today. Just balls that maybe should have not fallen, making poor decisions on what base to throw the ball to. We'll get into that a little bit later. But Chris Sale, final line, 5 2/3, 5 hits given up, 2 runs. Neither of them earned. So that kind of just goes to show you what happened here today. 1 walk to 7 strikeouts, no home runs. Harrison, 6 1/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, both of those earned, no walks, 7 strikeouts, and a home run to Ozzie Albies. So he was cruising through 4 innings, and he faced Ozzie Albies. Ozzie Albies just slapped one as a right-handed batter and put it in the chop house. Not even in the chop house, actually, or even in the stands. It was in that little grass moat right above the wall. And he splashed down 1-0. And the way Chris Sale, he struggled a little bit. He had some traffic on the bases, but what actually might get it done today? But later in this game, the Brewers found a way to plate 2 runs, basically exactly how they always do. There was a stolen base attempt and a hit. Ozzie had to vacate his position at second base to try to cover and tag. And the ball went exactly where he was. If there was not a steal attempt, it was a double play. We're out of the inning. And instead, they have runners on the corners. So the Brewers are really, really, really good at manufacturing runs. And so far in this series, the Braves have beaten the Brewers at their own game. Yesterday, it was a lot of defensive wizardry that kept Martin Perez and a lot of the bullpen guys in it. But today, just the Braves found ways to score and advance runners and do the things you need to do to win a Major League Baseball game. And it doesn't hurt when Ozzie Albies has 3 hits with 2 home runs. So anytime that Ozzie is hitting, Ozzie from the right side this year is just fantastic. So saying it once again, Ozzie fully out of the slump he experienced in May. And June has been a good month for Ozzie Albies. Hopefully, this is not just a every other month thing, but let's see. We can extrapolate it out. We'll do a little bit of very basic math, okay? So if it is an every other month thing, where he's on a month and off a month, on in March, or on in April, off in May, on in June, off in July, on in August, off in September, but then he would be on for October. So that math does work out. However, it would be nice if Ozzie could just hit this well throughout the whole year. And I think that maybe that's not quite realistic, but Ozzie Albies is probably my favorite Brave of all time. Just, I think he's surpassed Brian McCann now as my favorite Brave of all time. Just absolutely delightful human being, and just seems to have so much fun playing the game of baseball. And he was all smiles today. And you could tell that the team needed this win, because last night was a win that they managed to hold on to a lead, made some excellent defensive plays to keep themselves in it, to keep the lead. Today was a game where if you lost, I don't think it would be the most surprising thing. Chris Sale pitched well, but he was outpitched by Harrison for the Brewers. And then you made a few mistakes defensively. So it makes sense. Michael Harris does not need to let that ball drop. in center field that scored a run. Ozzie threw to second instead of just going to first for the sure out. That turns into something. Austin Riley, I don't know if he thought that he caught the ball at third base, and then instead of, just throwing to second and then trying to get the double play, or even just looking, your runner at third is taken off. He's halfway down the line. You can throw it home and cut the run off if that's what you're thinking. He just hesitates before throwing to first. So it's like, did he think he caught that in the air? And if so, why would you not step on third? Because that's the closer play for the double play. But I don't know. That allowed another run to score. Very, very weird things were happening defensively for the Braves today. Really was a very odd game. Because like I said, the Brewers got all of their offense through pretty inauthentic means. The Braves, outside of the 2 Ozzie home runs, a check swing from Austin Riley that managed to score a run, and that was about it. Not a lot of offense for either side in this one. 8 hits for the Brewers, 6 for the Braves, 1 error for the Braves. Probably could have, like I said, because it's so hard to earn an error in today's Major League Baseball, you could have probably credited the Braves with a few more there. But the Braves, despite all of this, find a way to win. And that is a refreshing change from the last 2 weeks where it felt like they were finding new, inventive ways to lose games and break your heart. So, seems the Braves might be back on the right track. Still an anemic offense, but the Braves are doing it against probably the best pitching staff, or at least, you're getting you got the top 2 guys, or 2 of the top guys at least, from one of the best pitching staffs in baseball. You get 2 wins after facing Mizorowski, and So if you had said we're going to win the series, but you got to face the Miz, I think anybody would have taken that. And it's just a really, really good thing for Atlanta, and desperately needed to get this win. They're still 7.5 up on the Phillies. The Phillies absolutely whooped the Mets tonight. That's why I waited actually to watch the end of that game, just to see if there was any chance of a Mets comeback. But I also wanted to update the division race, because I know a lot of people were talking about how fast the Phillies were closing after the Braves went on that streak, where they just could not win a game. Lost 6 of 7. So the Phillies, 7.5 back. Very, very manageable distance from here on out. Just have to play good baseball. So the Phillies, probably the hottest, or at least second hottest team in baseball since they made the manager change. I think these Brewers are probably the only team that have a case for it. But the Braves in very, very good shape still. So I think I watched the post-game interview, and Walt Weiss had to say of every single good team in Major League history has to go through a slump like what the Braves have gone through this past week and a half. Or else we'd have a bunch of teams that won 120 games. Because if you think about it, 120 games is only winning 3 out of 4. So, I say it only winning 3 out of 4, but that's not that unheard of. But it's these prolonged streaks that every team just completely forgets how to hit. And baseball is, it's a fickle mistress. You can hit the ball at the exact same launch angle with the exact same speed, and it could be a home run one day and a pop fly the next. That's really what it comes down to for baseball. And sometimes good teams just lose to worse teams. And, you might do it for a week and then you get your mojo back. So I think the Braves are at a very good spot, and winning this series against, like I said, one of the best teams in baseball, certainly one of the hottest teams in baseball in the Milwaukee Brewers, is a very, very good sign, and a potential look ahead to October, where a rematch of 2021 might take place between the Braves and the Brewers. So, something else I wanted to point out. Against the top teams in the National League, and I'm including that because the Cardinals technically are ahead of the Phillies because they have played 2 less games, but they're tied in terms of winning percentage. But, or excuse me, because they've played less games, despite even though they are one less in the loss column and one less in the win column, you have the potential to pass them in the same amount of games. Cardinals are ahead. But just using the eyeball test here, I think there are 4 clear teams that are the class of the National League. And honestly, even including the Phillies in this is a little bit disingenuous, but you have to remember what a terrible start they got off to and what a burner they've been on since they've fired Rob Thompson, brought in Don Mattingly to coach that team. So I include the Phillies. I think they've been playing just as good a ball as anyone. The Braves got them at a very good time. However, through 11 games against the class of the National League, the Braves are 9-2. They took 2 of 3 against the Dodgers in LA. They swept the Phillies in Philadelphia, took 2 of 3 of them from them in Atlanta. And, I mean, they've taken 2 of 2 so far from the Brewers in Truist Park. They'll have to go on the road next week. They have to go play the Padres. So some memories at Petco Park that I think that they would like to beat out of the Fathers for everything that happened at the beginning of last year. But they need to focus on tomorrow. If you can sweep the Brewers, that gives you the confidence going forward to do everything you need. Especially you got a West Coast road trip coming up. You've got the Padres. You got the Giants again after they beat you twice in your home yard. So interesting times coming up for Atlanta. They're a half game back of the Dodgers for the best record in Major League Baseball. And the National League is just insanely good compared to the American League. Top team in the American League are the Yankees, 46-29. They're a half a game up on the third place team in the National League, which are these Brewers. So absolutely insane for Atlanta to be here so far. And Atlanta has the second best record against teams above 500. The only other team with a better record are these Brewers. It's going to be very, very close, though, if Atlanta can sweep tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow and who's on the mound, for Atlanta, Bryce Elder will go out there after he did not play particularly well last time out. Trying to pull up, against the Mets, he went 4 innings, gave up 6 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, 10 hits given up. Bryce Elder looking to rebound because before that against Pittsburgh, which he was at home for, he gave up he went 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 earned runs given up, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. And against Toronto the day before that, or the game out before that, 6 2/3 innings pitched, 6 hits given up, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. So Bryce Elder has done much better at home than he has away, at least is what it feels like. Yes. So an ERA of 2.41 at Truist Park versus a ERA of 4.41 away from the friendly confines. So gotta do better than that. A vast majority of his innings, though, have been at Truist Park, and just better across the board. At any way you want to look at it, he is better at Truist Park than he is on the road. Gets to see the Brewers tomorrow at Truist Park. So Bryce Elder will take the mound for with a chance to sweep. The Brewers will send out Robert Gasser, who made his debut last year, but was sent down to AAA and did not make his 2026 debut until about midway through last month. He's pitched 5 games for the Brew Crew so far this year, all in a row. So once he's been up in the majors, he has not been sent back down. That's a good sign for the young kid. And he has 5 starts on the season with, I just got to bring up his full stats. There you go. I have them all compressed in different windows, but I got to tap the right button so I can actually see what I need to see. 5 starts. He's 0-3, though, in those 5 starts. 4.88 ERA with 24 strikeouts. And against the Braves, nobody has seen him except for Joey Bart. So you trade for him, and Joey Bart, the only pitcher to see, or the only hitter to see Robert Gasser in his very, very short big league career. But the Braves will get a crack at him tomorrow. Joey Bart, for credit, only 2 at-bats against, but that in one of those at-bats, he did have a double. So, very, very nice for Joey Bart. Or excuse me, actually, I am wrong. He is 2 for 2 against Mr. Gasser. So honestly, you might see Joey Bart get thrown right back behind the plate tomorrow against a lefty. Baldwin DHing again. I assume Michael Harris will be back in the lineup. He was back in the lineup today. Kind of skipped that part because of wanting to just talk about the way that this team played today. And he really didn't do much in out. He had a double, so that was a good thing for Michael Harris. But yeah, might see Joey Bart once again in the lineup. I thought he had some good at-bats for Atlanta. And a fun fact, Joey Bart, now the 8th catcher that the Braves have used this year. That breaks the franchise record for catchers used in a season, and it is June 21st. That's not a record you want to break before the year, but you can do a lot worse than Joey Bart. And he seems to be a very good fit in Atlanta. He's a Georgia native. Absolutely would. I mean, he seems like to fit like a glove for this team. So tomorrow it'll be Gasser and Elder. Really 2 pitchers that can do a lot of good or a lot of bad. Something the Braves should keep an eye on is when Gasser is not on, he can be very, very wild. He had 2 walks against the Twins, 4 against the Dodgers. So that's the best lineup, the most comparable lineup he's seen to the Atlanta Braves. Against the Giants, he walked 1. Against the Athletics, he's walked 2. And against the Guardians, he walked 2. So against a competent lineup, he does tend to walk a lot of guys. So that's something the Braves should be able to use to their advantage. They do have a pretty good eye for the strike zone for the most part. So outside of, he pitched against the the Sacramento Athletics in Las Vegas. So I don't necessarily put a lot of credence into that stat line because the ball was flying out of that minor league field, but you still have to take the stat nonetheless. So you don't know what you're going to get out of Robert Gasser. You definitely don't know what you're going to get out of Bryce Elder. Should be a pretty fun one tomorrow, 1 o'clock at Truist Park. But I think that's about it. They'll wrap it up for me, at least. And I don't have a co-host, so there's no one else to speak for me. So I'm Caden. I hope you had a wonderful Saturday. And if you're a Braves fan, keep the faith. It's all going to turn out better soon. And I think it already has. I said keep the faith the other night. The Braves have won 2 straight against one of the best teams in baseball. So, peace out, everybody. Keep on shopping. And have a good night.